Bray. This is Multidimensional Living with Katie Bray, which used to be just a straight up radio show and podcast. And I decided I wanted to move it video. So I have my first guest in this format with this technology right now, live. It's happening, and the dog has been barking. So we're just keeping it real here this morning. That's what we're doing. But I'm all about that, so I'm good. In fact, I'm say an announcement first, but then I'm gonna share a little bit about Bill. I have his bio in front of me. I'll read some of it, but I'm a fan of talking about real experience too, which I have had with Bill. So I would love to use that as part of his bio. So welcome to today's show. And I wanted to let everyone know that the full focus meditation that I created a few years ago, that I've given to so many of my clients and so many people have really benefited from it, is on sale for the month of February. Where can you find it? The offer button or on the offer page at Live with the Lights on the Facebook page. It's really powerful for actually having a conversation with your vision. So if you've done your vision boards and you're still going, okay, what's happening? What's going on? Or you're wondering if there is some kind of block, it's the meditation for you. Grab it, $12, and it's amazing. So with all of that said, I would rather talk about and with Bill. So, and yes, shout out to our matching colors, or not matching, complementary. Yeah.
That's it.
We did good.
The Ascended Masters got together, and they said, let's have a little fashion
Totally
talk.
Yeah. I agree. Well, and we're wearing some of my favorite colors. So selfishly, I like the vibe a lot.
Excellent. Yay.
So I'm going to read a little bit of your bio, Bill, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience, and then I just want to jump into conversation.
Sure.
I'm going to read a little bit. So Bill Foss, as seen on Gaia TV, international author, teacher, and healer, he guides, teaches, and heals through his workshops, books, and private sessions. I'm going to talk about the private sessions because I've experienced that. Guided by spirit through years of studying the higher mind, spiritual paths from around the world, ancient cultures, healing, and the arts, Bill brings through today spiritual percepts, from ancient times in a clear and concise way to help you unlock the secrets of spiritual success. Now, he's been all over the world teaching. He does have a book. He has another book coming out, the follow-up to the first one. We're definitely going to talk about that. He is an amazing artist. We have to talk about your art. Without a doubt, we have to talk about your art. I'll put my notes down now. So I had the privilege of being introduced to Bill through our mutual friend, Amanda Marie Masters. And what I love about Amanda is she's always connected to the most powerful and amazing people. So when Amanda says, I think you should meet this person, I'm like, I'm all in. That is don't pass, go, just like go there now. So Bill and I connected pretty quickly after that. And since then, we've utilized each other and each other's services. And that's one of the things that I love most about this work is finding people where there is such reciprocity and the place where we can meet at such a high level to help each other grow. And one of the things that I value myself as a teacher, as a practitioner, is always doing my own work.
Yeah.
And it's something that Bill really values as well. So we meet each other there beautifully because I know that Bill is someone that I turn to, Amanda as well, for different reasons. But Bill is someone that I can turn to when I need a tune up, when I need support, when I need some guidance on things. One of the things that was so fun, it was just, I guess, a few weeks ago, Bill, where we met in person for the first time.
Yes.
Yes. So Zeb and I went up to Encinitas, where Bill is currently hanging out, or was currently hanging out at the time. And he pulls this Buddhist, I'm going to let you explain more about it, this Buddhist item out of his pocket. And Zeb and I were like, whoa, it's this, this big contraption. I was like, how did that even happen? How did that fit? How is he sitting comfortably? How did he not notice? There's so much going on in my head right now. But he hands it to me, and I immediately was like, boom. And it was like, oh my gosh, time just collapsed. I just went somewhere. Something happened. It took me a minute to get my equilibrium back. I literally was like, and I see, and I know this from our work together on both sides of our work together, that Bill is amazing at, I'm just going to say, collapsing or changing time. As we know, time here on the earth plane has one meaning, and we often see it as just this linear, sequential, orderly measure of experiences, really. But ultimately, that's not what's true. That's part of the illusion. So when you get into Bill's energy field and you're just with him, you don't even have to think about that being a truth. You actually just get to experience it. So it's an amazing thing to experience. And of course, that was just us being social and connecting. But I found it to be very similar when I was in session with you. I could feel this transmission and this feeling of parts of myself from different places, which is interesting because I do a similar kind of work in a very different way. That was interesting to me. So what I want to say is Bill is one of the most amazing, gifted masters in the Akashic Records world, in reading the Akashic Records and working within them. So, Bill, how did you get into that? Like, I mean, I know it's a soul calling, and it was something that you were pulled into, clearly. But where was that shift for you, where you just knew that it was something to follow?
Thank you, Katie. I had been studying when I started my wake up program. It was a very natural. I had this big question mark that I had to to answer. It was coming. It was coming. It was like I must have been walking around with a giant question mark over my head, behind me, and I had all of this creative energy, all of this art and music energy coming through me for all of my life. And people had said, well, have you ever thought about being a healer? And I thought, not really. I had other friends that were energy healers, and I thought, I'll just be the artist, and I'm fine with that. And they can do the energy healing. Well, I had started studying energy like we all do, reading all of the books. It wasn't that long ago, but it was right before all of the new modalities cropped up. So theta healing wasn't around yet. Matrix energetics. I mean, like within the next few years, everything just like exploded. And so when I started, there wasn't a whole lot of information on the Akashic Records or the Ascended Masters. There was actually more information available through sources like Alice Bailey and the Secret Doctrine, and other sources, the Theosophical Society, the Saint Germain Foundation. where they were talking about the ascended masters, those who had gone before us.
Mhm.
And uh, there had been the New Age movement has been going on since the early 1900s, like the turn of the century, when people started talking about the ascended masters, and there are others. But we're in a place right now where we're really, really dealing with them firsthand more than ever. That the ethers are thin. The veils are thin now. The vibration is high, and they're able to step through and work with us. So, in answer to your question, to finish that before I get lost there, uh, when I found in all of my studies and my reading and opening the heart and starting to study Kriya Yoga, and I had just connected with my Satguru Babaji, uh,
Mm.
Maha Avatar Babaji uh, Nagaraj from uh, the Himalayas, or the Himalayas, as we say here in the U.S., um, that my life started to change. And I started to go through okay, well, you've got to step through this conflict. You've got to let this go. You've got to learn this. And so they're giving it to me really fast in order to
Mhm.
shift. Looking back now, I see that. Um, when I found the Akashic Records and I started reading it, every time I read those words, I thought, there's something there.
Mm.
There's something there. It's special. I'm just not sure what it is. And so I started looking. The internet wasn't that far along. I'm probably dating myself here, but the internet had been out for it had been out for like a while, but we hadn't gotten to WordPress.
Okay.
So when I started looking around, WordPress was still clunky. You couldn't use it, and
I still can't. It's a wheelhouse, but I hear your point.
uh, So when I found the Akashic records and I found sources of information, and I found a private teacher that worked with me, as I went into that, um, I didn't know, I didn't understand, I didn't have any reference point why I already knew this. It was like they were opening. It's like they were opening the book and they were downloading information to me very rapidly. And everything I read was like, yes, this is true. Yes, this is true. Yes, this is
Mm.
true. It was literally like looking around in the reality through the
Mm.
senses, and the way that we just take in,
Mhm.
and we don't judge. We don't, when we use our senses and we look out around our reality, we're driving, we don't say, is this real? We just go through it. We just move right through it. And that's the same natural way that I got into the Akashic
Mm.
Records. So as I was reading it, uh, and starting to take it in, and I had profound experiences right out of the gate with it. I literally had no thoughts of becoming a teacher with the Akashic Records.
Mm.
Um, I just wanted to know myself.
Mm.
I wanted to know who I was and why I'm here. And that's literally the main reason why the Akashic Records exists. The main reason why the Akashic Records exists is so that the souls of humanity can know their selves,
Mm.
that they wake up, that each soul is able to have a program where that it comes to earth, and then between lives it goes back up, and it is able to, it being the soul, us being the soul, we
Mhm.
are that that true essence of the soul. That's what's coming through our senses right now. And as we go back up between lifetimes, naturally, that's the old school natural process.
Mm.
We all are going to go to the records between lives. And when we go up and we go there, we go, oh, yeah, it's just like going to another room in our house. We remember it very well when we go there. It's the reset when we come back down for a birth, is when we forget everything. And they have to do that naturally because it would
Mhm.
be sensory overload for us. Um,
Yeah.
and so the records, there's so much powerful information, so many dynamics to understand and learn. It's simple, powerful, life changing information that you can gather and use about yourself on a core level that shifts you. And as you know, Katie, from doing your own spiritual work, and I most certainly know from doing my own work, that the subtle shifts equal big, huge things. The subtle shifts. I mean, every time we feel a shift, when we start going through our life and we start going, when a person starts going and they're going, oh, they're happy, they're sad. They're happy, they're sad, and they're sad, and they want to get to that happy place again. And then we get onto the spiritual path, and we're looking for that even keel, and that's a lot of what Babaji talks about in the Kriya Yoga, being in that even keel. Oh, we get a little happy, we get happy, but we know that, this is our base right here. We get sad, we don't let it kill us. We know that this is our base right here, so we're going to come back. We just experience it and go through it. That doesn't make it any easier sometimes, but we know that we're going to return to center.
Yeah.
And so as we start going through this, the dynamics that you're looking for, that you're able to integrate on a soul level, excuse me, from doing this work, is that when you get a little piece of the puzzle for yourself or about yourself, when it comes back in, and you get this from working with the records, when you're in human form, when we're in human form. So one of the most important things about using the records now is starting to use it while we're in human form instead of waiting till we're out of human form. That's what all of this Akashic Record study is about here on the earth plane. And when you get those little integrations, so when we go up between lives, we're in the yin energy, and we look at everything, we go, oh yeah, man, I really screwed up there, didn't I? Okay. But you know it as all things being divine. You're not in judgment of it. You're like, oh, everything, whether it's a negative or a positive integer, is an enlightening experience when you're up in the records between lifetimes. When you're here on the playing field and you get an aha moment, whether it's going into the Akashic Records or doing the spiritual work, or most definitely from doing this level of work, you feel a soul integration. So in this way, it can be like shamanic, it can be like doing shamanic work. The only other process from the classical studies that I felt like soul pieces coming back in were shamanic studies. And if you've done any of that work or been exposed to it, and a lot of us have, that it's that level. When you get something that it's almost like you can feel like another piece of the armor or another piece of the puzzle being put into place in your soul field out here, and it creates a strength or a core that's in here, and all of a sudden you're like, you just go out and start being who you're supposed to be during the day, just like that, and you're like, oh, I've been trying to get to this moment for the last 10 years or the last 5 years or all year, and I've been skating backwards, or
Right.
moonwalking, or whatever. So that's a little bit about the dynamics of the Akashic Records, and that's really the true essence of. And there's so much more that we can do with it on so many levels, but the core level essence of why it exists is for each and every soul to know themselves at the greatest level possible during this lifetime, and that's why we're all here.
Yeah. There's so many things that you said that brought something up for me. One of them is, I always say that the divine is always in the paradox.
Yes.
So when you were talking about the subtleties, they do tend to be the most powerful. And I even feel like although I don't identify as a religious person, I am always in awe and inspired by the different religions and the way that they have their own way of saying that. And one of the best examples in at least my worldview is baby Jesus in the manger. There's this innocent baby, as normally we would look at a little baby and say, this is this little helpless, little innocent thing, you know, and yet it's this monstrosity of an energy and powerful human being who's been brought to the earth to really make a huge impact. And so I feel like that's one way that this idea of paradox and the divine being there is just woven into the fabric of who we are and what we know on a certain level. It's our earthly experience and where the collective is at the moment. I think that it's consistently wanting to force or bombard or have all these extreme everything so that we can feel it, when my experience is it's the subtleties that have always had the most impact. The things that I think are going to be big and great end up being like nothing.
Yeah.
And the things that are just tiny, like how I even met Zeb, was from this horrible, like psychic fair that I did when I was way early in my career.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like, oh my gosh, why did I spend my day here? Like I was a practitioner there. This one woman sat down because she needed my support. The next thing I knew, she became a client who sent her daughter, and it was her daughter who happened to run into Zeb when he was visiting Baltimore, and she brought him into my office. So talk about subtle. Never in a million years would I have ever thought, here we are now, like raising our kids together, spending our lives together. And it fundamentally started at this day that I just wanted to saw my own head off. Like, this is such a waste of my time. But it wasn't at all. And I think stuff like that happens every time.
Yeah.
And so there's this part of me that's always aware to have reverence for every moment, because we just don't really know what subtlety in which moment is going to call in the biggest shift that we may ever experience in our lifetime. And I see that with clients all the time.
Yeah, that's amazing, Katie. You're reminding me. I saw something on Facebook. As you know, Facebook is like, you know, it comes up and so often now. It's part of everybody's on it. But
Yeah.
I was scrolling through and I was doing the news feed and I was looking at my posts and whatever, and I saw a post it was like sparkles, and it said something amazing is just getting ready to happen. And I saved that to my desktop because I thought that is so awesome. How, it's so easy for us where those subtle moments come in where something happens, and it's so easy for us to get lost in the mirage sometimes and go, oh gosh, what am I doing? Where am I going? What am I doing? Where am I going? That's the power of the mind, and everything else out here that we're going through. And if we're studying manifesting, and I know you do as well. When you're studying manifesting and working with manifesting, if you could just get your mind, if any of us, all of us, if we could just get our mind around being in that magic, that something amazing is just getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
That will short circuit a lot of those other, those moments where we want to saw our own head off, as you so eloquently put it. I love that.
So this is bringing up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you say? This is bringing up something that I'd love to hear about and sort of compare notes, because I know our work there's so many similarities and yet there's so many differences. And so I am running a course It's called energy architecture. It's something that I do one-on-one with individuals. It's also a course that I and the main purpose of it is for people to really know themselves on such a deep level. But that means, how do we recognize when we are sending our prana, our chi, out into the world in directions that don't fuel the life that we want to experience? And so I work with people on understanding their beliefs, their perceptions, but I mean on a deeply energetic level. The places where we are consistently running energy and we're sometimes not aware of it, a lot of the time not aware of it, so that we can start calling that back in and keep all of our energy right here so that we can consciously move it towards what it is that we want to magnetize into ourselves.
Yes.
So I do a lot with the mind, body, spirit paradigm in that sense, in very sort of, it's obviously etheric, but very feet on the ground, because it's a way for people to empower themselves through self-diagnosis, through the work that we do together, the whole program. When it comes to manifesting and Akashic Record and the voodoo that you do with time, I don't know what else to call it. It's so trippy. Like, I know that time is relative and we make it something different here, but in yours, it's like, it just happened. I just had like 10 deja vus at the same time. So with your work and manifesting, how do you work with that? How do you see that? What does that look like?
Well, I have, as I've been studying, Katie, much like the rest of us over the years, it has the dimensions, basically through my expanded work with the records, have been, the dimensions have been opening to me. And I've been aware, I want to say consciously aware and consciously unaware.
I don't know.
That there are different levels of energy happening simultaneously, different realities playing out all around us continually. So that it's, we really are multidimensional beings, and it's like we have to catch up sometimes.
Yeah.
So, the body has to catch up with what we're doing. I tend to use a blend. I tend to use a blend of different things when it comes to manifesting. I think when people find out about the records, there's two things that are attractive to them. Number one, finding out all of their past lives, which can be invaluable. And the other thing is finding out what's going to happen in the future. And those two things are wow factor. Now, when you get into the work and you start looking in, you can be at that surface level, and whatever we're doing in life, we see people out in the world on planet Earth that are at the surface level of manifesting, and they have great careers. I mean, we're talking.
They always get that parking space they want.
Yeah, we're talking about billionaires, and talking about people that have a great work ethic, good values. They just do the work. Other people, every so often have a great amount of good karma from past lives, or it's just something that they did in a past life, and they're just able to bring it through no matter what type of challenges or conflicts that they're experiencing in this life. And this is where we see somebody who's doing really well, who has maybe a lot of conflicts going on around them. So it's just this big spinning, ball of a big spinning hairball that's always happening. But back to, there's this surface level. So you can be on that surface level of manifesting, and sometimes it's good for us to go back to that, to get to simplify everything and go, okay, maybe I just need a thought, a prayer, a good quiet thought and maybe a couple affirmations just to, move me through in the moment, and then I need to disconnect and go about my day. So there's that. It's good to focus on it, and then it's good to release it. So to go into it. Then there are those other times where we have these epiphanies, where we have these, God, the universe, our higher self, our soul, the what's in our DNA, cause and effect of karma from other lifetimes. All of these things play a part simultaneously. That's the part. That's one of the parts that is a challenge for a lot of us to get our minds around, because it keeps people spinning. They're like, "Oh gosh, what's going on? Is it my karma? Did I do something wrong? Did I make God angry in a past life?
Right.
Did I make God angry in this life? Do I have entities or negative energies? Uh, is there is there a uh, is there a source of energy that's beyond my knowing, that's influencing what's happening to me or what I'm going through?" And all of these things can be possibilities. All of these things can be possibilities. So when I work with somebody through the Akashic records, that's, I would say, if I had a specialty, or there was a specialty about the work, that would probably be it. That would probably be one of the big ones right there, is going in and doing session work with people when they're like, not only when they just want to know. I mean, I have some people that are just happy as snug as a bug in a rug, and they're just like, "Hey, I just thought this would be fun. Let's get in. Let's see what you can tell me. I want to know my past lives," and they're good with that. Other people have had, there's something that is, they just can't put their finger on it. It's like they're slipping on a banana peel in an alternate reality or something, and and they just can't, and it's up. So my work is to like reach into that alternate reality and shine some light on that and say, okay, let's set you straight in that alternate reality, or let's disconnect that alternate reality. Let's disconnect that alternate reality, and or maybe it's this reality, and it's a past life of this actual timeline in this universe, where somebody is the soul energy likes to balance. It likes to, water seeks its own level. The soul energy does that. It radiates energy a lot. So when we oftentimes we think we might have karma. A lot of us do have karma, and that's something that can also be cleared by this work. Um, you made a statement as we started the interview, and you were talking about your experience of when we met, and that's kind of a natural. That's the natural osmosis of the energy from just doing the work, and it happens. It happens more often, sometimes more often than I'm aware of. You know what I mean? I know you did that because you did a reading for me, and you were talking about this, and it's true. It's sometimes I'm in here, and when I'm not consciously projecting that, it's sort of
Oh, geez. Sorry.
sort of on autopilot, and it's just, I hope I didn't do that.
It could be any number of things. It's fine. It's fine. Keep going.
But it's the energy is just on autopilot sometimes, and energy, it expands and projects. So anyway,
Yeah. So I have a question.
sure.
When this came up for me when you were first talking, and it's something that's very sort of real for me at different times in my life, particularly lately. This idea of divine timing when we're doing some of the work that we're doing. I know that, there's a saying of the different layers of the onion. And there's a place where I am in my own life right now where I know I'm been here before, but I'm in such a deeper, richer place than I was last time. And it feels really great. Actually, I hurt my back and it hurts to sit, and it's taking me a lot longer to recover than it normally does. But the last time this happened, I knew that it was, you really need to be gentle on yourself and chill out. There's some stuff that wants to come in. And truth be told, we were dealing with a lot of stuff with our kids at school. And it was just one of those moments in life where there was a lot of sort of, I don't want to say critical, but pretty important things that needed our attention, like right then and there. And so what I've noticed is all of that took me to a place of such a richer, deeper experience of something that I have been, for lack of a better term, I mean, this is its own show, but working towards for so long. And I know potentially it could be that it's just some belief that I have not on my conscious level that it requires, that it takes things like that for me to learn, or that it is about divine timing. And yet there is a part of me that really values my human experience as a soul who comes here to learn as I go, and does believe to a certain degree, just because of the way that I see energy, that if I were fully integrated, if I had like made it, I would probably frighten my circuits. And so there's something for me about divine timing. I even have clients all the time that will, I will say something to them over and over, and it's like just not clicking. 3 months, 6 months, a year later, I'll get a call or an email going, oh my gosh, like I got it. Or that happened, it makes so much sense now, right? It's like if that had happened or they had gotten it 6 months earlier, it wouldn't have been anything. So I would love to hear in the whole energy around the Akashic Record, the Akash, where does that go?
Yeah. So where does that go?
Yeah, like where in your world of the Akashic Record, where is divine timing when you have so much access, which we all technically have access. It's just that you're very into it.
It's that's very interesting. That's sort of like uh, this is the world that the ascended masters and the archangels and our guardian angels and our guides and our higher self and our soul live in, which is the masters have said often that the three-dimensional reality is the least real of all worlds, and there are reasons for that. It's because here we have life and death, and in the other dimensions there is no death.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're let's do a simple just a simple example here. Our our guardian angels, or an archangel, or an angel of the light that's looking out for us, and our higher selves, our spirit guides, they can actually see along the timeline. They can
Mm-hmm.
see past and future.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if they clued us in a little more often.
There
Except
is no time.
it's like it's
I know.
all of the masters and angels, they're like, you're going to be fine. We got this. You're going to be fine. So in answer to your question, in describing this, uh, they're they're looking along the timeline for us as part of our experience. So as all souls are connected, and the energy, uh, your soul's energy is radiating through time and space, we're all in the eternal now. In the eternal now moment, everything is occurring. In the eternal now moment, everything is occurring simultaneously. While they're up here looking out, you know, along the timeline and seeing what is going to happen, that's where things start lining up and taking place, those magical moments. And that's why manifesting and trusting, feeling gratitude, doing the heart work, really being in our heart work, doing the chakra activation work.
Mhm.
I think we should do a throat chakra activation here in a few minutes, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, uh, doing this work, uh, it always something things are always aligning or changing. They're always a change. I don't necessarily want to use the word misaligning, but they're like taking different courses and different routes. Things are shifting. It's like, our our higher selves and our spirit guides. It's like they're playing spot chess.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
like I
where
like
remember from the original Star Trek where there are
Mhm.
multi tiers, and he's like taking this, and it's like that was brilliant. I mean, in Gene Roddenberry there, that 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 analogy in itself is that they came up with that is brilliant, because that's what's going on up here in the other dimensions,
Mhm.
to where we come out on the other side and we've gotten everything that we need, everything that we as much as we need, as much as we can allow ourselves to experience, uh, through our desires and our purposeful needs, uh, and and as much as we can give, as much as we can give to others, as much
Mhm.
as we can allow ourselves to share, and as much as we can allow ourselves to give.
Mhm.
So there's that flow, and that's God talking to God.
Yeah.
That's God. That's the universe talking to itself. God talking to itself. Every moment, every day, every morning, every night, every minute, every way. Just being in the prayer, the thought, the love, the juice. Just really being in it.
I
Uh,
love
so, as
that.
you were talking just a few minutes ago,
Mhm.
may I?
Please. If we've
Okay.
got about 15 minutes, let's say 10 minutes, I do want to spend at least a minute or two on your artwork. I think that's really important. People
Okay.
have to know about it, but absolutely.
I just wanted to share with everyone a throat activation process that will help with. This is something that will help everybody out here that's at the ocean, no matter where you're at in the world,
Mhm.
in the United States, wherever you're at in the country. Um, the throat chakra is one of the most subtle chakras. This is a chakra that you are working with a lot, with your energy work, as you were a saint, a nun, and a nurse in other lifetimes.
I'm
And
still a
yeah,
saint.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. There's a lot of Mother Mary energy with you,
Yeah.
and the saints, they're with you, and you really embody that. You bring that in. So there's that, that's that divine connection that you have, where people are you're getting those phone calls and people are saying, "Oh my God, this stuff just happened,"
Mhm.
because these saints, there's so much divine energy that's working with you, and that's and Mother Mary works a lot that way. So
I love Mother Mary. I every morning I am working with her, asking, especially when my family is my everything. And so I'm always asking for support, um, especially when our kids were going through some stuff at school. It was like just help, and how can we be the best parent? That's my big thing. I want to be conscious parent to raise these very congruent, conscious people into the world. So I am always asking Mother Mary for support with that.
that's awesome. And her clearing energy is like a light blue, which is the same color as the throat chakra. So let's just bring our hands up to the throat right here. And you can do it like this. I like to do it like this sometimes, or you can actually bring one hand in front of the other if that whatever you feel is best. And what we're going to do is just we're going to do some subtle clearing for just a moment here with the throat chakra. You're activating your throat chakra with divine energy. We're bringing divine energy through your throat chakra. This is the command center. This is where the soul commands out into physical 3D reality and also through the other dimensions. That which you as a soul, as a divine form here in physical 3D reality would like to experience on your divine path. And so let's just breathe the ocean energy and the sky energy right through the throat. Just see if you can just take a few moments here and just breathe the sky energy, that really light blue, bright blue energy right through the throat. The throat is where we get layered up. The throat, the head, and the shoulders is where we get layered up a lot of times with karma. There are psychic connections and tethers or karmas to situations, others who need our help, those that we actually have light and dark karmic challenges with, or situations that we just get layered up with throughout the day. And by doing this and bringing that blue energy of the sky into the throat chakra and the ocean energy into the throat chakra, we are clearing as it moves through the throat chakra, and it moves up into the third eye, up through the crown, down through the heart, down through the solar plexus, down through the sacral chakra and the base, out through the fields, and this blue energy is just clearing every part of our being. Every part of our being. So as you're doing this, it's helpful to just literally just breathe the sky energy itself, that light, bright blue energy of the sky right into your throat chakra. And if you do this for 30 days, or you can even just try it for a week, and this will see what happens. See what happens in your life.
I love that.
It's so, and you can feel it's very,
I can feel it for sure.
very, very subtle, and your energy shifted and expanded when you
did. Anyone else feel it if you did it? I'd love to see your comments. So I thought that was great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Would you mind saying a few words about your artwork, where people can find it? We do have Foss.net posted that you can buy his book. Actually, tell something about your book too, because that's an amazing resource, and you can get it at billfoss.net. So your book and your artwork, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about those things.
Sure. Well, I started as an artist, like as a child, and then I got into music because it was a lot faster paced and there was more energy involved. So I went through my music phase, and then I came back into my art again, and I developed a career around art coming out of my music career. And I have a website, which is billfossworld.com, and that's where all of the art. That's where you can see all of the art. And there's a lot of art there, and a lot of different styles of art. Primarily, what I've arrived at now is I work on copper, brass, and aluminum, and I like to paint the energy masters, and I like to do soul portraits for people on copper, brass, and aluminum. So, and then I will put crystals around the frame. I'll build frames and all.
Oh, I didn't know that part. You've been holding out on me.
And then I have chakra charts that I make. I have 7 foot tall chakra charts that I make that are copper that are hanging. Um, and so I've been doing this work for years. And as I got into that, there was literally a part when I started doing the spiritual work and the teaching where I thought I was going to spontaneously combust because I was doing all of the music, all of the art, and all of the writing and the books and the workshops, and I didn't have time for all of it. One person didn't have time, and so uh, what I did was I married the art and the music with the spiritual, and
Mm.
it just started. It was a natural process for me, so I started doing spiritual art, spiritual music, and I was like, okay, now I think I can, I think one person can handle this. That's the way I work with it now. My primary goal is my spiritual teaching, and the art and the music has it's been somewhat secondary for me at this point, but I still enjoy painting
Mm-hmm.
and selling my art and creating music, which I use in my guided meditations and perform at expositions here in the U.S. and overseas when possible. Uh, and the books and the sessions are available at billfoss.net. The books are literally how I can keep working with you. So if you feel drawn to get a session, or if someone wants to do some deep work, a session will always help you to shift. And everyone's session work is so wonderful. Katie's session work is wonderful. Our friend Amanda, her session work is
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. So many gifted healers out there. My session work is also, then again, that much different than everyone else's. And so I can help as a piece of the puzzle, help you shift as we're all coming together and all working together. The books are literally, the books and the CDs are how I can keep working with someone. Uh, a lot of times when I'm traveling and doing expos or working with somebody, I'll say, get the book. It's not because I'm trying to sell them a book. Obviously, I'm the author
Right.
and I want my books to sell.
Of course.
But
That's fair.
I just know that the book has Journey to the Akashic Records is a 400-page book with 2 glossaries, and it's a master level. It was channeled. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, all of the information was channeled, so there's so much in there that somebody can get. Now I've started to take that master level of that book because people really enjoy classes and being helped and guided and led. Often it's easier for us because we grow up in school, and this is the process, and we
Right.
teach online and everything. So I started this book series called How to Read the Akashic Records, and I'm on just completed volume 1, New Beginnings, which is a 200-page book with 5 exercises in it that were completely channeled. What I originally meant to do was to take Journey to the Akashic Records and split it up into 3 sections. Well, now what's happened is I'm keeping that book, and they started channeling new information. So I've got a whole new platform of information to work with. And I'm just in the middle of writing the intermediate book right now, which is going to be available as a pre-sale order at a discount. And
Great.
that's amazing. I mean, I'm always, as long as I've been doing this, 20 years now, 20 years plus, every time something comes through, I'm like a little kid. I'm just like astonished and amazed at the level of information that comes through and the way that they creatively are guiding the whole teaching process, uh,
Yes.
it just seems magical to me.
Yeah.
So, so those are available there at the site at billfoss.net.
Great. Which we have posted. And obviously, I'm a huge fan of your work, and
Well, thank you.
I do love that. Um, I think what it really comes down to, we have. Thank you, Tracy, Claire, Martha, for all being here. They really enjoyed the energy work. What I want to say is that there are so many gifted people in the world, and I feel like are more and more up and coming, and that's really necessary with where the globe is going. And it's not a conversation about who's better or anything like that. It's more about resonance.
Right.
And I think that's the most important thing, that, you could have a best friend who says, oh, go to this person. It was like a miracle. And you go and you're like, really? I don't get that. It's not a matter of value or skill. It's because we're talking about the vibrational world and a world that is all about frequency, that there literally has to be a resonance. You have to resonate with the person that you're working with, or the people that you're working with, and with that, honor when it's time to mix it up or even move on. I've had people that I've needed someone else for a different stage of my life, and I just sort of trusted that, but then I've gone back or I haven't. It's part of that flow of the way that we evolve and grow. I only say that because I've known some people, it's come up recently where they almost felt like they were cheating on their practitioner by going to someone else. And it's not like this. It's not about like going to a different hairdresser. That's a whole different conversation. It's really about the resonance of what you're feeling into at that moment. And that can always be different. And I think one of the most empowering choices that we can make is to really honor whatever that is and not make any judgments about it.
Yes. That's awesome, Katie. That's very well put.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. I love talking with you.
Yeah. Same here. I love connecting with you and talking with you. You're such a wonderfully divine soul.
Thank you.
Wonderfully guided in your work.
Thank you. As are you. And so just as we wrap up, remember to grab the full focus meditation off of my Live with the Lights on Facebook page. It's a special offer for February. It's easy, it's great, it's effective. Lots of great feedback over the years on that one. And then please visit Bill's website. We've got buildfossworld.com and billfoss.net. I get those right? They're in the feed. Okay.
Yes.
So please check them out. Bill, really quick, do you have something free on either of your websites? Don't you have an offering?
There is a if you go on to billfoss.net and you go to the CDs and the download page, there is there's something called Know Thyself, as we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first chapter of The Secrets of Spiritual Success, my first book, which is probably one of the most powerful chapters I've ever written. And I made an audio download of that. So you can just click on that and download it for free.
Beautiful. Perfect. What a gift that is. And what a gift you are. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you again, Bill, for being here.
Thank you.
And I'll see everyone right here, same time, same place next week.
Yay. Good luck,
Take
Katie.
care.
See you later.
Thank you, Bill. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.